Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today, we have an update to an icon. This is the Sebenza 31 large. An update to the Sebenza 21, which a lot of people have often called the ultimate EDC carry knife. I'm not quite sure. I was always 100% in that band, but I did like my 21 a lot. I had one for a significant amount of time, and I really did enjoy it. Eventually wound up selling it because there was a couple little things I didn't like. Well, they've changed those little things in the 31. It is an incremental update. This is definitely not like an all-new model or anything like that. You rarely see that from Reeve. They kind of have a formula, and it kind of works for them, so I can't really complain about that. But they did definitely make a lot of the changes that I particularly wanted. It's almost like they watched my review. I'm sure they did not, but it seems like they did, because a lot of those little things were changed that I do like a lot. This goes for $450 in the large size. In this plain version, it is the large Sebenza plain, as you will see here. I'll show the box and all the stuff that's in there in just a moment. But they're not inexpensive. Right now, they only come in just this blade shape. This is just the drop point. It's Reeve. You know they're going to come out with an Inkosi blade. You know they're going to come out with a Tanto. They always do. You can also get one right now with several different versions with several different inlays, which are beautiful. And they're quite a bit more expensive, like $550, but still the same blade shape. Those come with silver instead of these blue, where you see blue here, it's silver. I went with the plain one. I planned on having the plain one for a while and then getting a fancy one at Blade Show or whatever, but that's not happening. So I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I'm probably still gonna do that, but I'm probably gonna wait until they come out with another blade shape, and then I'll get the other blade shape with the fancy inlays. But beautifully made, as you expect from Reeve. One of the things that they said that is an improvement over the 21 is that they have some new manufacturing techniques, and it makes the tolerances even a little bit better. I don't think that was really required to make the tolerances better, but one thing that change did make, no locating hole. There used to be a hole, right? Just kind of a superfluous hole that was only just for machining purposes. That's gone now. They don't need that anymore with their whatever new techniques they're using. I like that a lot. Other changes they made, there is you can't, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in there or not, but instead of just a hardened titanium lock face, now there is a little ceramic ball interface, kind of like they do on the Inkosi, which I believe they do it on the Inkosi. I've never had an Inkosi, but that's what I've heard people say. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it has a little ceramic ball interface, so you have a ceramic ball touching the blade instead of hardened titanium. That should wear better. Not that there was ever a giant problem with Sebenza's wearing out, but that should be a little bit better. Like I said, the machining stuff, the lock pins or the stop pins, a little bit different. The biggest difference for me, and one of the reasons why I didn't really like my 21 that much, is even though Reeve says their knives aren't really for flicking, they go more for this hydraulic action. We'll get into that more. The old pocket clip used to be straight, so it landed right on the lock bar, and your hands want to be on that when you go to thumb flick the knife open, and I would always, bind it up, and it was kind of annoying. On the Inkosi, they did this angled pocket clip. Those seem to be a lot more flickable. So I really do like that. That's a huge improvement for me. So like I said, these are incremental improvements, but for me personally, they make quite a big difference. A couple other little tiny things, like I know they did this on later 21s as well as correct. I had an early 21, so on mine, if you would cut the lanyard off, which I always do. I don't like lanyards. These do come with a lanyard installed on them. This little lanyard pin was not milled, so it would just kind of fall out. On later 21s and now on the 31, it is milled so that it won't fall out. Now I will say, when I first did that, it did, if you really smacked it, it would have rattled just a tiny little bit. I put a little bit of blue Loctite in there when I took it apart, which Reeve encourages you to do, which is awesome. I love that they provide the tools and their recommended lube and stuff. They encourage you to take them apart, and I do. So I really do like that about them, where it's a bit more rare than it used to be, but a lot of companies still, if you take a knife apart, it violates the warranty. Not Reeve. They kind of encourage you to do it. So it does come with a lot of stuff that makes it feel like $450. Best packaging in the business they've had for a long time. Reeve knives. You already saw the little logo there, or the label. And open it up. You get lots of goodies. It's got a Crucible CPM thing. The S35VN is a steel that I believe they helped develop or something like that. And now it's everywhere. So you get this really nice little folder with all your instructions on how to take it apart, how to put it back together, what each part is actually named so that you don't sound like an idiot in a YouTube video. I should probably read that. Little care notes about how to do stuff. Yeah. I will say on the sharpening, we'll get to that at the blade. I have a recommendation of how to sharpen these a little bit more than what they say, but yeah, this is a drop point S35VN, and it is the, not the Insingo or the Tanto or Damascus, which handle it is, and it's a little birthday, February 12th, 2020. And then it comes with the ubiquitous Chris Reeve cloth. This used to be like everyone's background when YouTube knife videos were new. It was just to show I have one. You kind of had to have a Sebenza. They're that iconic that I don't think people took you seriously unless you had one. And as I said, it comes with their recommended grease and the 5/64 wrench that you need, Allen key that you need to take it apart. I will say though, no sticker, guys. What is up with that? I had a plan for that sticker. It was going to go on my car, and I didn't get one. Usually you get a little Chris Reeve sticker. It just looks like that. I didn't get one. You not do the stickers anymore, guys? Come on. I miss my stickers. It's because I had a plan for it, and I don't have one. Now I'm going to go find one and buy one because I want a Chris Reeve sticker on my car. That was a childish little rant. Let's do some specs and size comparisons before we get too much farther here. You have an overall length of 8.33 inches, blade length of 3.625 inches, blade thickness of 0.12 inches, handle thickness of 0.46, and a weight of 4.7 ounces. And unsurprisingly, this gets the golf clap. Chris Reeve is very, very precise about things. It does weigh exactly 4.7 ounces. Size comparisons. Let's do some of the usuals first here. We'll do our Spyderco sandwich. We have the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and the Spyderco Para 3. Line needs up a little bit better. You can see pretty similar in size to a PM2, a little bigger than a Para 3. Next up, we have the Benchmade full-size Griptilian and the full-size Bug Out. A little bit longer than a full-size Griptilian. And now I just want to bring out some that I think would be kind of interesting because this is kind of a pricey knife. So I'll show some other pricey stuff that I have. I don't have a ton of knives in this price category, but we have the Hinderer XM18. I did a comparison between these two, not exactly this XM18, it was a different one that I have, the more basic version. This is a DLT trading exclusive spear point, but they're all the same size. So check that out. I'm actually going to put that in the suggested videos at the end, so go look at that. But you can see pretty similar overall length to that. And we have the Spyderco Spidey Chef, a little bit bigger than that. And lastly, I'm putting this one out here just because I'm getting a whole lot of comments on Instagram, and every time that I show this knife, I think I got it in comments about the review, and it is a knife that is so hot right now. It is the Quiet Carry Waypoint. A lot of people say, oh, it looks like a Sebenza. It doesn't. I don't really see it. Blade shape is quite different. Thumb studs are a completely different spot. Handle shape is, the only similarity is that they both have kind of a finger cutout, but it's way different on the Quiet Carry. And as you can see, it is quite a bit smaller. It's kind of between this large Sebenza and the small Sebenza, which, by the way, they do make the 31 in a small. Yeah, I don't see it. You got lots of curvies and stuff up top here, completely straight edge on this. I don't see it, other than the fact that they're both titanium. I don't get this is a liner lock, it's a frame lock. Don't get it. But just wanted to get that out there because I do get those comments a whole lot. So, talk more about this knife, the blade. The iconic Chris Reeve blade shape. I'm going to say iconic a lot here. I apologize for that. S35VN, as almost all Chris Reeve knives are. Now, there are some prototypes floating around in S45 VN that are being checked out. So maybe that steel will be something they're transitioning to. We're going to use as an option. I'm not really sure about that. But S35 VN is, Chris Reeve's been into it for a very, very long time. They do a good job with it. I know that some people used to call them being really soft, and I did feel that my 21 was maybe a bit soft. I don't really feel that way on this one. And other people have said anecdotally that they believe they've hardened up the HRC a little bit. Maybe they did, or, you know, maybe I'm just better at stropping and stuff, so it doesn't bother me as much. But I've found the blade steel to be fine. It performs like most everyone else's S45 VN. It does have kind of a unique edge. It's pretty thin behind the edge. You're looking at about 23 thousandths, so not too bad at all. And a very nice hollow grind and very thin blade stock, so it does slice very well. Now, Chris Reeve knives do have a pretty unique convex edge. They're not your usual, you know, usual edge. It's got that little bit of a, it's more of a circle than just a wedge. And I find it's best just to keep them really stropped up if you want to keep that original edge. Now, if you put it on a you know, a set angle system like a KME or something like that, you're probably going to lose that convex edge, but that's not the end of the world. I mean, it's still going to cut really, really, really well. It's just not going to be as it was from the factory. So I just strop it instead of, just make sure to keep it stropped. If I do have to fully sharpen it because I'm not paying attention and not keeping it stropped up, then yeah, I'm probably going to lose that convex edge. But again, it won't be the end of the world. I do really, really like the blade shape on this. It's just a great user blade shape. You know, Sebenza, people have said a million times, means work in foreign talk, and I do. It is definitely meant for work. This blade shape is meant for work. As far as the ergos go, pretty good. Another little change with the 31 I failed to mention that other people have mentioned that I can't really see, but I can feel, I think. It feels like the chamfering's a little bit different around the edges. Whatever they've done, it does mention something about small ergonomic changes, so that must be what they meant. And it does feel very comfortable in the hand, a little bit better than my previous one. I can feel this little ridge here just a tiny bit in my hand, but not bad at all. And the angle of the pocket clip definitely makes it land in a better spot for my hand anyway. So I don't feel the pocket clip in my hand at all. You can kind of feel it touching maybe just a little bit right there, but now I'm going to say I don't really feel it at all. It's fine the way that I grip it. It has that unique Chris Reeve texture, which will snail trail. I can't believe this one doesn't have any on it yet because I've been carrying it a whole lot. Maybe they've made it a bit harder. I don't think so. I think I've just been lucky. But I don't mind that on a Sebenza. Like, they're kind of meant to be worked with. Excuse me. They're kind of meant to be worked with. They're kind of meant to look a little bit beat up. And it almost kind of makes them a bit charming. So not really going to complain about that too much. But it is a very grippy kind of texture. And it will eventually smooth out. But if you ever send your Chris Reeve back for a spa treatment, which is something we'll talk about more in the conclusion, they'll restore that. So it's a pretty cool service they have there. As far as the carry goes, bring out Yale Wranglers Mark II. Changing the angle of the pocket clip hasn't seemed to have made it carry any better or worse than the 21. I still really like carrying it. There's no flipper tab, so it's easy to slide your hand by. 4.7 ounces isn't a lightweight by any stretch of the imagination, but it's fine. You have a little bit sticking out here, but it's not too much. And kind of don't mind it because it's odd. Like when I'm carrying a more expensive knife, I do kind of don't mind if people notice it, because maybe I'm going to run into that one knife guy that you pass in passing it once a day and don't realize it once we're allowed to be outdoors again. And they're going to recognize immediately that's a Sebenza. And it's cool to have a Sebenza. It's one of the icons. So I don't mind that at all. And the pocket clip works great. No issues there. A couple people have made milled pocket clips for the 21. One thing I don't know, it looks like the same pocket. Maybe the other pocket clips made for the 21 would work, but I'm not really sure. So if somebody knows in the comments down below, let me know. I know Casey Lynch makes one that I didn't know about, a pretty cool deep carry clip, but I do believe it's for the 21. I don't believe it's for the 31. So if someone knows if that would work, that would be cool. I guess I could just ask Casey, but I'm already doing this review right now, so I'm not going to stop to go ask him. As far as the action goes, like I said, moving this pocket clip made a world of difference for me because I like to be able to do that. And on the previous one, I kind of had to make sure my fingers were down here and it was kind of awkward. Now I don't need to do that. Now I can just flick it open without thinking, and I like that a whole lot. Now the action on a Sebenza, you hear Sebenza smooth. You've heard that for a long time. It's a bit misnomer. I think there's lots of knives out here that are just as smooth now, but it is that kind of hydraulic feel, you know, where it's not going to drop shut. It's going to stop. I mean, you can like wrist flick it to get it to close, but it's not really what it's meant for. It was meant to be a thumb roll deployment. You know, it was meant to be open more like this than what I do. That's what Chris Reeve said, but I like to flick it, and now this makes it easier. So no complaints with the action at all. I think that is the biggest improvement on the 31. Now, as far as everything else goes, what's my conclusion? I like it. I think it's a big improvement. My 21 I sold because I just didn't find myself carrying it that often. This one, those little changes, since I got it, I've only had it for a couple weeks now, but I grab it all the freaking time. And the only times I used to carry my Sebenza 21, I kind of felt it was because I wanted a Chris Reeve in my pocket. I appreciated the icon status of it. I appreciated the, you know, how well it was built, and just in my stupid man brain, that's I would just want to carry it because I wanted to carry it. This I just actually enjoy carrying more. I'd like being able to flick it open. It's a tiny thing, but I really do like it. It looks exactly the same. I do like the hole missing. That is a bigger improvement than I thought it would be. That does make it look a lot better, I think, but it's not an exciting looking knife, especially in this plain version. Now, some of the ones with the inlays are gorgeous, but I don't care that it's plain, and I still have stupid man brain where I just like knowing I have a Sebenza in my pocket. And I also like knowing the warranty that's behind this thing. You can send it off to them, and you get back almost a brand new knife, and it's still your knife, which is cool. Like, they don't just replace your knife if something's bad with it. They'll fix it. And I like getting your knife back, but you can send it off. It's a very reasonable fee. They'll sharpen it. Like I said, they'll restore this finish if it's messed up. And just a really great service they offer. I've never done it yet. I hope to have this long enough that I beat it up enough that I can do it and I can tell you about it, but I have a lot of knives, so I think the chances that I beat this up enough to require that are pretty slim. But I would like to do that. I mean, ideally, if I didn't have a knife channel, I would be striving to be the first guy to send a 31 in for a spa treatment. You know, like some car channels, or want to be the first guy to put 100,000 miles on a Ferrari, whatever. But I'd probably be trying to do that. But I have the channel. I have to show you guys stuff, so that's not going to happen. But I do really like it. I do think the improvements are big improvements. They're small, but I think the overall sum of their changes is quite a large improvement. If you were debating right now between if you see a Sebenza 21 in the exact configuration that you want, but you're debating, you know, waiting for the 31 to come out in that configuration, I might do that because it is a pretty good improvement. So I hope you guys have liked this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.